Page here, and this way I'll be reviewing set number 60071, and the set costs £30, and it's called Hovercraft Arrest. Here's the first build of the set, and the first build of the set is a hovercraft. That's it, this is quite a nice looking hovercraft. It has a sticker at the front which says 60 please, and if you take that off then it can be used as just a generic sort of normal hovercraft, and it has quite a nice sort of bit around it which sort of gives it a realistic hovercraft look, and that's just a few sort of round curved pieces. There are two lights at the front, there's a windscreen, and overall this hovercraft just looks really nice. Though one look that I don't really like is the back. I mean, I get why they have these big fans here, but I sort of wish they were a bit smaller, but if they were smaller then they wouldn't really work for a minifig scaled hovercraft, so I guess it's okay. It's just they look a bit big compared to the rest of the build, but I guess that's the small size they could get them, unless they used smaller rotors, but that wouldn't really look quite as good. So they just spin around, and they look quite good overall. There are two lights back here, there's two seats for two minifigs, and there's a bit of storage back there. And overall I really like this hovercraft build, and LEGO doesn't do many hovercraft builds, although I think this is definitely the best one they'll ever do, especially in a LEGO City theme for a set that's this cheap. And I really like this hovercraft build. So here's the first minifig of the set, and the first minifig of the set is a generic sort of swamp police cop. I mean, this minifig appears in pretty much all of the sets, if not all of them. But I do still quite like this minifig, and they're very well printed. I mean, at least the torso is. I mean, there's printing for a belt, there's printing for a radio, there's some pouch printing, there's sort of a open jacket with a t-shirt underneath printing, there's the badge printed on, so lots of printing on the torso. Not so much on the back, but there's the belt continued, and there's another radio there. There's, I think that's a lighter or something, not sure why a cop would have a lighter, but he does. And his legs are just plain dark blue, he has this tan cap, and his face is sort of smiling with an eyebrow raised, and he's sort of winking with one eye. And he doesn't have an alternate expression, because LEGO can't do that when minifigs have hats, because they can only have alternate expressions when they have hair pieces or head pieces which can cover them up like this. So if he had this hairpiece, then he'd be able to have an alternate expression. So I get why they did that, it's just sort of disappointing that he doesn't have an alternate expression. It makes sense as to why he doesn't. And overall this minifig is sort of generic, sort of common, yet sort of cool. Here's the second minifig of the set, and the second minifig of the set is a beardy crook. I'd say this crook sort of looks funny. I mean, first of all, he has sort of overalls on, with sort of olive green suspenders, and that sort of looks silly, especially compared to the rest of the LEGO City crooks. But what makes him look really silly is this oversized orange beard and his expression. I mean, his expression sort of shows him sort of smugly smiling, but the beard sort of adds to the look, because you have these sideburns going down here, but then this is just this big massive chunk of a beard. It sort of looks funny, although it sort of looks silly as well. So, other than that, he has a black beanie hat, and he sort of has a bit of printing on his torso, which shows his sort of trousers are a bit too baggy and long. And around the back you can see sort of the olive green suspenders continued round, and the dungarees, or sort of those sort of trousers, continued round to the back. And it has the baggy printing going around to the back as well. There's some stripes on his torso. He doesn't have a number like most of the LEGO City sort of crooks do. And his expression's sort of funny, and overall this one sort of brings a bit of comic relief to the gang of criminals in this particular wave of sets. Third minifig of the set. The third minifig of the set is a female crook. And this female crook has the Ron Weasley / Luke Skywalker hairpiece, and that definitely fits this minifig very well. They have a sort of smug expression, and their torso print is very nice. I mean, it's sort of a generic sort of crook outfit, although it does have a very nice detail, which is a sort of open bit of the shirt, which shows a sort of necklace, which looks really nice. And there's also sort of some button detail here, there's also some shaping detail around here, and the legs are the same colour as the other crook, which is sort of a middle sort of blue, medium blue, and they have a crowbar as an accessory, no alternate face unfortunately, the printing continues around to the back, and overall this minifig is a very nice yet simple minifig. So here's the second build of the set, and the second build of the set is a small little treehouse. I'd say for the size and the fact that it's meant to look run down, it definitely looks quite good. I mean, LEGO's done much better tree houses. I mean, there are two creator ones which are much better than this, but for its size it definitely looks really nice. I mean, there's this plank across the sort of front, and there are some planks all around, and that definitely creates quite a unique look. And it has these sort of eerie vines hanging down from the main tree branches, which is quite cool. and there's the sort of dark green colour used for those tree foliage pieces, which is quite nice. Those are quite rare pieces. And the main sort of part of the tree trunk is a sort of rock texture piece, and that definitely works quite well for the tree trunk. And I sort of think it would look better with bricks instead of that piece, and it's sort of cheating that they just use a big piece instead of building it up. I think it would look better if it were built up, but that's no big deal. And that definitely adds quite a bit of texture, I guess, so that's quite good. So some people might like that, some people might not. I don't. But yeah, it also has these yellow windows, which can open. And there's no door to this thing, unfortunately, which is sort of a missed opportunity. There's a green base plate at the bottom, and there's sort of some root details down here. That's definitely quite nice. A bit of grass down here. Not much detail around it, though. And around the outside, there's a little bit of detail, but not much as well. I mean, there's a sausage, sort of, in some tongs. There's a frying pan, sort of to cook the sausage, and there's a coffee mug, because most LEGO City sets have coffee mugs, especially the vehicles. There's a lantern, sort of to provide some light in the place, and there's a ladder which can be flipped up so that you don't have to sort of get the police into the building. So you can protect yourself, basically. Or if you want to let someone in, then you can flip it down, and that's quite a nice feature, although that just fell off, and it does do that quite often. But still, that's quite nice. And also, there's this hidden area where you're meant to put the crate, although you can put it on the back of the Jeep. And quite honestly, it looks better there. And the tree sort of looks a bit weird with it in there. It's so hard to get in there, but you can put it in there, and that creates that sort of look. So yeah, there's that box, and that just has a gold, or 2 pieces of gold, and a stack of money. And those are some printed tile pieces of money, and there's 2 of them in the set, in this particular area. And other than that, there's not much for this treehouse. It's a very simple and small, yet nice treehouse. There's also this stick on the roof, which shows that it's rusting a bit. So overall, I kind of like this, but it's not the best treehouse LEGO's done. Right, so here's the third build of the set, and this build is quite nice. Although it is a very generic truck, it does have some very nice features to it. Like this light bar up here, definitely looks quite nice and makes it stand out between sort of LEGO City trucks. And it has a very nice sort of engine detail here, with 1 stud showing there, and there's also sort of a raised area here. And that definitely makes the front of it look very unique. Other than that, there's just a sort of standard license plate sticker, and 2 lights and 2 grille pieces. It's very square at the front, so that sort of looks very generic for a LEGO truck, but overall the front of it looks quite good and quite cool. And on the side there's a clip where you can put a minifig accessory. At the moment there's a pickaxe there. And this thing is sort of half-tracked, so it has 2 wheels at the front and 6 sort of tracks, or 2 tracks with 6 wheels at the back. And that definitely looks quite nice and works really well. It rolls around really smoothly and definitely makes it look more unique from the side than most other LEGO City trucks would. And I suspect this thing can probably go over some very tough terrain if you try to make it go over tough terrain. And on the other side there's another clip with a light on it. So you can put anything on there, but that's what I put there. And around the back there's this sort of area where you can stand a few minifigs, but mainly it's for this feature, where you can put the box of sort of stolen goods on the back, and that can be hidden in the treehouse as I showed earlier. But yeah, there's just a little space for that. That's some jumpers, so you can easily take that off and put it back on again. Now one thing that you can't do so easily is taking off the top. I mean, you sort of have to really tear it off, and then it takes off the entire front half of the vehicle, which really doesn't look that good. But basically what that's for is if you want to put a minifig inside it. Now I sort of wish they had sort of some tiles or some jumpers or something instead of just connecting it straight on there, because that sort of is a very awkward way of getting a minifig inside. And you can easily break the thing just by sort of trying to get a minifig inside, which is somewhat annoying. But the rest of this vehicle's pretty good, so I'm sort of okay with it. But it's just a bit of a sort of weird feature that they have there, where you have to tear off this entire chunk just to get to the minifig. But inside there's just a steering wheel and a seat. And it's quite nice how that's done in red, because you don't usually get those pieces in red, and also it matches the colour scheme of the vehicle very well. Although black would have worked as well. And overall, this is a very generic, yet it has some very cool features sort of truck. I really like the design of this thing, even though most of it's very generic, and there are a few features which I don't like. But I really like the half track, I really like the sort of engine and light bar setup. And overall, that's my thoughts on this truck. All the accessories in the set, and there are quite a few, which is really nice. I mean, first of all, there's a snake, because all of these new sets come with snakes, or they're not new, but they're from 2015. And this is the new mould of the snake from 2015, and that's just a red snake in the new mould. And there's a walkie-talkie, which is also the new 2015 version, looks very nice. And there's the crowbar from the female crook, which I showed earlier. And there is two pairs of handcuffs, sort of to capture the crooks, one for each crook, which is very good. And there's also a life jacket for if this police guy gets sort of drowned by the criminals, or sort of falls into the water or something, then he can put this on, and that will help him swim. And there's also a torch for the police, and a torch for the crook, so I guess it must be very dark. And there's also this axe, which sort of suggests that these crooks made this themselves, and this is what they used to cut the wood. So, all very nice accessories. It's nice how there's so many accessories included in a set. And heck, you could even count this as an accessory, then there's more. And there are also some that are used within the builds. So yeah, lots of accessories in this set, which is a really nice plus point for this set. Overall, I really like this set, and I have to say, you get a lot of really good stuff for the £30 price point. I definitely recommend this set. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10, and that's it for this review. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you later, alligator.